Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth and fancy seeing you here in June. A very welcome, my friends, and especially my enemies. Come in, sit down, no touching. I don't do the touching. I've already done today's edition of the dceu Daily talking about Grace Randolph releasing these spoilers from Birds of Prey. But I couldn't find her video before, and I've just found her video about this subject. And I want to play it to you. You won't be able to see it, but you'll be able to hear the audio. I'll be interrupting it. I'm very passionate about this as a DC fan. I don't like this woman, not personally because I don't know her personally, but a lot of what she has to say is hot air, and it must be exposed. Let's go.
Obviously, it's impossible to have a complex conversation on Twitter, which is why I make...
It's impossible to have a complex conversation on Twitter because everyone is going to call you out and you don't like it. On here, you can do a video, ignore the comments. That's why it's easier for you. And plus, you're going to get 50K or to 1 million views. So monetizing the DC universe is great for you, isn't it, Grace?
This video. And where I want to start this conversation is with a question. How do you view entertainment journalism? I think this is a very important question, especially in response...
Wow, how do we view entertainment journalism? Well, as a DCEU fan, seeing that all of them have slated us, the fans, Zack Snyder, the direction the universe was in, the direction the universe is going in, I too have view entertainment journalists a bunch of opportunist scum who will do anything, say anything, to do anything against anyone who isn't Marvel and who isn't DC. We continue.
Some of you who feel, a few of you who feel maybe this story shouldn't be covered. All right, so...
No, this story shouldn't be covered. It is not relevant that the villain in Black Mask is gay. Nobody should care about that. I'll say it again. It is not relevant.
What are entertainment journalists? Are they extensions of the studio? Are they hardcore fans who simply have access? Are they cinema studies professors? Or, like other journalists, are they the fourth estate? Now, if you're not...
Grace, you can use as long words as you want. They are neither of those things. They are a bunch of opportunists. That's it. Talking about something they mainly know nothing about. Or they flunked from cinema school, writer's school, film school, and they're bitter and they're frustrated. But mostly, entertainment journalists have always got an affiliation with one studio or one network than the other. If you look at someone who's done very well, Krypton's site, he's so CW biased, he's so tunnel vision, and most of what he talks about is the CW in a good light. I don't like the CW. I don't like the message they project. And this is so every journalist is biased to one entity or another. In other words, they cannot be trusted.
Familiar with that term. It comes from French history, in fact. But basically today, when it comes to checks and balances, there's obviously the executive, legislative, and judiciary branches, but many feel there's also the press as the fourth group when it comes to checks and balances, whose job it is to act independently. And you see the ramifications.
Oh, act independently. Yeah, we see how independent they act when every time a Disney film comes out, best movie ever. Oh my God, I cried so much. They're not independent, Grace.
When they don't. Now, as you can tell from my coverage, I think entertainment journalists are the fourth estate in Hollywood, where the three main groups are executives, like studio executives, above and below the line talent, the people who are on set making the movies. You know, we often see them as at odds with the studio executives, right? Checks and balances. And then, of course...
At odds with the studio executives, more like, Grace, in their pocket. In fact, you're probably in somebody's pocket, aren't you? This is what happens, guys, when someone becomes successful. Let's just imagine, right? All of a sudden, I wake up one morning, I've got 2 million subscribers, never going to happen, but let's just pretend. 2 million subscribers, everyone wants to sponsor me. Then studios have a word in my ear, why don't you say a few nice things about this? We'll make sure you get the tickets. We'll make sure you're financially rewarded. But it's all unofficial, right? So you're not really bribing me, are you? This is how it works. This is the reality. She's talking nonsense because she is part of that agenda.
The audience. But I feel very strongly that the press, once again, is the fourth estate. And today, I'm not just telling you something that happens in Birds of Prey. I have a lot of information, in fact, right now about how several movies end. And I have not shared that because it would just simply be...
Basically, yes, because your agenda is against the DCEU. You've got lots of information that you don't spread, but you're going to spread this information because you want to poison DC. Not necessarily because you hate DC. It's fashionable to hate on DC. You know the fans are trying to get the Snyder Cut released. You're stirring the pot. Grace, that's all you do. Don't tell me nonsense about French history and fourth estates. Journalists haven't got the power they think they've got. They think they're powerful. They think they can influence us. But ultimately, we've seen the reaction to The Last Jedi. Every journalist was calling us racists and sexist, but we still hated The Last Jedi. You have no influence. You can't win. Yes, people listen to you. People watch you as a piece of entertainment. People are obsessed with movies. And this is why you're so successful, Grace, and you're good at what you do, my dear. But at the end of the day, you're releasing this news because you have an agenda against this franchise. And it's very interesting, isn't it, Grace? But now you've justified yourself, let's give a listen to what you're actually going to say.
Spoiling the movie. But there's a larger, much larger, important conversation at play here. I'm calling attention to a major change in an established character.
Oh, I see. So you don't want to spoil movies, but you're going to spoil this movie, so that's all right, because it's about a larger conversation here about changing a character. So she's already bullshitted you with her crap and bullshit justification, and now she's going to let the cat out of the bag, which is that the villain Black Mask is going, oh no, he's not gay in the comics. Oh no, what we're going to do? This is terrible. How dare they?
LGBT representation, which is very important right now, especially in comic book movies. And this is potentially damaging LGBT representation. And then the overall potential lack of dignity in yet another DCEU movie, a franchise that's so vulnerable right now, right on the cusp of having...
So vulnerable. So should we go back and look how vulnerable this franchise is? Man of Steel, 600 million. Batman v Superman, 900 million. Suicide Squad, just under 800 million. Wonder Woman, 800 million. Justice League, of course, we know all about Justice League. I can't defend Justice League. Then you've got Aquaman, over $1 billion globally. Shazam, over 4 times its budget. And already... critics are calling the Joker movie, because look, it's all DC movies, so we might as well say this. Critically acclaimed, Oscar nominations, Oscar winners, that's what we're talking about. So, Grace, don't tell me the fragile state of the DCEU. You're creating something just to make a video. You're being mischievous. That's all you're good for.
A full comeback, but this sounds like something that threatens to throw them right back to where they were in much darker days. And on top of all that, Birds of Prey, as we all know, doesn't come out until February. So that gives enough time to Warner Brothers, star and producer Margot Robbie, and Ewan McGregor, who plays Black Mask, to at least take another look at their movie, right? To see this reaction now and maybe be like, maybe it does warrant a second look, right? Are they just in a vacuum? Are they only being told what they want to hear as to how this plays out? Because they really need to take a close look at their movie and ask themselves yet again, how will hardcore DC fans and mainstream moviegoers react to this? Because Warner Brothers has been wrong on this front before multiple times. In fact, again, as I said,
it's really, really funny. It really is really, really funny that Kevin Feige has announced he's going to represent the LGBTQ community in the MCU going forward, that many characters that maybe haven't been gay and lesbian and transsexual before? Maybe will be. That's obvious if he's going to represent them. He's not just going to puff out brand new characters, but she's not mentioning that because it's fashionable to shit all over the DCEU. She's had this big build-up, how this is so important. She talks about LGBTQ representation being important, and then she talks about it being dangerous for DC because DC have done this before. She doesn't talk about the other films that are doing it. She talks about Warner Brothers. She targets Warner Brothers. She's constantly targeting Warner Brothers because it's all part of her agenda.
It sounds a lot like those earlier days in the DCEU. Finally, with so many movie news sites these days, and let's say Twitter personalities, right, competing to break spoilers, this is going to get out. In fact, that's how this all began yesterday. Now, here's your spoiler warning, last chance to bail out. All right, so yesterday, one of you asked me if I could confirm a report that Black Mask would be a gay character in Birds of Prey who has a flirtation with Victor Zsasz. Now, again, because of the understandable demand for LGBT representation in comic book movies, something that I myself am in favor of, I've been a big proponent of Stucky.
Wow, she's really in favor of it all, but she doesn't seem to be going down this line because Warner Brothers are doing it. At the end of the day, right, Black Mask, what is he, a grade D character? Let's be honest, who fucking cares? Now, I will talk about, cultural swaps very passionately because I think they are blatantly wrong if you can't do them both sides. But at the end of the day, we're talking about not the most popular or famous villain being gay when he hasn't been gay before. This is happening a lot in Hollywood. I understand what they're trying to do. Is it the right thing to do? Should they have made him gay? Should they have introduced another character who happens to be gay? Should they have just created a new villain who's gay? They could have done that. I get it. But I just don't think this is a big deal. And I don't think this is relevant news. I don't think this is going to damage this film. I don't think it's going to damage the DCEU. But she's putting it in the way. It's not that she wants it damaged, but she's scum. She's a shit stirrer. She's trying to stir you up. That's all she's good for. It makes her successful. It makes her rich. It keeps her going.
Oh, that's now dead. But anyway, I felt this would be obviously very big news. So I asked one of my sources, and my source confirmed it. In fact, they not only confirmed it, but gave me detailed information, revealing that Black Mask being a member of the LGBT community would be a defining part of his character and motivations in the movie. So basically, Black Mask would be at times flamboyantly gay in this movie, obsessed with art, is what my source said. And the storyline, or one of the storylines, is that Cassandra Cain eats a diamond to hide it from him. Now, let's just not even talk about right now, and maybe it's not the case, but Cassandra Cain is supposed to be famous for other things, incredible martial arts abilities, not that she ate a bad guy's diamond. But anyway,
Hang on a minute. She swallows a diamond so the bad guy doesn't get it. How do you know? Does that mean she's not going to do great martial arts in the film? No, it doesn't. Again, you're stirring the pot. Basically, you're trying to say, oh, this film's terrible. The character swallows a diamond so the bad guy doesn't get it. For Christ's sake.
Apparently, he's after her throughout the film to cut it out of her, although there are other ways to get something out of someone's stomach. Anyway, while our heroes, or anti-heroes, assume he simply wants the diamond, or that it has important criminal information hidden inside of it, the reveal is that it's actually pics of his private parts and he doesn't want anyone to see. I had a very hard time believing this was true. Again, it just seemed very disrespectful to the characters and the LGBT community, and like the kind of mistakes the DCEU was making before that we all thought they'd moved past. So I turned to a friend of mine, in fact, who I knew had read the script a while back, and which we had a deal, by the way, not to discuss. But with this new, incredible information, I did ask my friend if they could confirm or deny it. And they not only confirmed it, I was shocked when they confirmed it, but they added additional information that Harley Quinn, who narrates the film, often breaking the fourth wall Deadpool style, or like I, Tanya, my friend pointed out. But anyway, it turns out, so what Harley Quinn says, like this is the twist or the dark comedy of it, is that yes, what's inside the diamond was truly of incredible value. but only to Black Mask. But that doesn't make sense, because if you wanted to blackmail Black Mask, obviously it would be of value to you as well. I mean, there must be nuances to this that we don't know yet. As also, why would a flamboyantly gay...
This is the point, Grace. Nuances you don't know about, but you're reporting, and the way you're reporting, everyone's going to go, oh my God, he swallows a diamond. Oh my God, it's all about pictures of his privates, or whatever she was fucking going on about. I didn't even get it. That's why I didn't stop the video to talk about it. But the point is, you don't know the nuances of this film, but instead you've got a little bit of information. This is what they do. She thinks she's got an exclusive here when she doesn't. I don't give a crap that Black Mask is gay now and he's never been gay again. As I say, I will speak out against SJWs and certain things, but I'm not gonna shoot my gun, pop, 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 pom, all the time. Not for this. You know why? Because I'm a DC fan and I'm a DCEU fan, and ever since Man of Steel, I am sick of it, sick of the negativity, sick of the hate for such a unique take on comic book material. You don't like it? I'm happy for you. If you like it, I'm happy for you. But the venom and the tactics that people like her are finding, it's just a way of trying to bring negativity back. But as I said in the DCEU Daily, this has backfired because people are not shouting venom at Warner Brothers. They're shouting venom at her because she had no right to release this about this film. It is wrong. And I think Warner Brothers need to do something about this woman. They really do.
Criminal even care if these pictures got out, unless they're making the joke, and I hope that's not the case, that they're not flattering. I would also at this moment like to take the opportunity to point out, to be fair, that my friend did enjoy the script quite a bit. They thought it was a lot of fun. There were apparently positive reactions to the first test screening that we've seen online, and other bloggers who have confirmed my story have said, but it works. However, we've been down this road.
But it works, but it works, but it works. But however, and this is how this woman works. Let's carry on. This is fun, isn't it?
Before, right, with those other DCEU movies. And here, again, is why I think it would be worth Warner Brothers, Margot Robbie, and Ewan McGregor's time to take another look at this to be sure they're striking the right tone and to consider how it might be.
Oh, thank you, Grace, because they're not going to look at this again and again and examine everything and examine what everyone's saying on social media. This is what studios fucking do, you tool. Oh, they're going to listen to you. They're going to listen to you because apparently this film is insulting to the LGBTQ community. Basically, I don't give a rat's ass. I don't care about the LGBT community. I don't care about representation. I do want people represented, but it shouldn't be looked at so deeply. I'm fed up of it. I want to see good films, and I'm fed up of this scum. This scum, and she's not the only one trying to manipulate us fans into hating Warner Brothers and hating the DCEU franchise. But she has revealed information she has no right to reveal, and I believe it's Warner Brothers' responsibility to do something about this woman. It was all very well when when Disney got Rotten Tomatoes to change their format when people were commenting about Captain Marvel, right? But when it comes to these people, because these people can either say negative or bad things, these studios won't touch them. She's got a lot of light on her. But the truth of the matter is, she's already trying to damage them. So they might as well do something about her once and for all.
Perceived by larger audiences. Because there are a lot of things that we're going to discuss right now that seem like really big red flags. So first, as one of you actually pointed out, having an underage girl swallow something that has pictures of adult private parts on it seems questionable at best. Next, the LGBT community...
Yes, she doesn't know. She doesn't know what's in the diamond. She doesn't know what's in the diamond. That's the point. It's irrelevant. You and your filthy mind have put that, and your viewers' filthy mind have now put that in people's minds purposely, right? Honestly, right? This is just infuriating. But at the end of the day, it's good. I'm glad she blocked me on Twitter. It's good. I don't need her to follow me. But I will do videos about her. I will talk about her because I think that this woman is very talented and she could really be a positive force for filmmaking. But the truth is, she really knows nothing about what it takes to make a good film.
Has been clamoring for representation in the biggest movies being made today. Again, totally understandably, something that I advocate for quite strongly, as you've seen. But so far, they've been getting nothing but a whole bunch of queer baiting, which I think is, another conversation about, stealing from and taking from groups without giving back to them. I think that's, really one of Hollywood's things they haven't gotten over, unfortunately. So for Birds of Prey, a dark comedy to make its villain not just gay, but flamboyantly gay, right? And not pulling off a grand heist or some sort of master plan, but instead going after his own personal private pictures, right? Pictures of his privates, which he put in a diamond in the first place. The jokes.
Do you know what? I've worked it out now. I have spoken to people a little bit. They haven't told me much about the film. I didn't want them to, unless I get a chance to watch a test screening myself. But do you know what this is? This diamond thing? It's a subplot. It's pretty obvious. I mean, I'm going to do some research and try and get back to you on this. But I think this is a subplot. And I don't think this is the main plot, right? That's what I think, right? And she knows that as well. But, of course, as I say, she's got to stir the shit, hasn't she?
Come out of this. It's similar to the Martha situation, which I would like to say I felt worked. But you can see it obviously did not overall. I mean...
Oh, by the way, this is like the Martha situation, which I thought worked, but it didn't work overall. Well, it depends. A film is in an individual relationship with an individual. It worked for some. For the mainstream dunces, it didn't work. And that's up to them if they don't want to be compelled by a compelling moment in film. And it was a compelling moment that was set up from the very first fucking frame when Thomas Wayne is reaching out and saying Martha, right? Two men having two mothers with the same name and linking it. Two men fighting. One man's about to kill the other. And then Superman saying, they're going to kill Martha. And you've got Bruce Wayne not knowing what the fuck's going on. How can they kill my mother? She's dead already. What are you talking about? Is she alive? He's so confused. He's so frustrated. He's about to kill him. And then Lois tells him, and it changes everything for him. He sees a human being, even though he's not a human being. He sees a person with feelings, with a mother, right? And basically, Martha won't die tonight. But let's keep on going on about the Martha moment. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to convince you if you hate the Martha moment. I can't be bothered with that. All I'm saying is the reaction to that Martha moment is pathetic. And the reaction to this, well, there's not actually a real reaction apart from hers, is pathetic.
I'm not saying that what happens in this Birds of Prey isn't defensible, but I think it's, can be easily attacked. So, for instance, someone said, is that where rich people hide their porn in diamonds, right? I mean, also I saw some jokes about maybe he's thinking about Dick Grayson pics. I really do think there's a similarity.
I'd love to know where she's hearing from these people. Is this in her community? Well, let's be honest about it. They're not DC fans, are they, Grace? We know who your real fans are, don't we? And they're certainly not DCEU fans.
To the Martha reveal, which obviously they felt was genius when they made the movie. It just doesn't sound like great LGBT representation either. And is it done for the right reasons, right? Are they creating a great LGBT character? I mean, again, people who've seen the movie say that he is a great character, but you have to be careful how everyone's going to view it. Again, everyone thought the Martha thing was great.
She doesn't like it. She's mentioned the Martha thing 3 or 4 times now, stirring the pot. She doesn't like it that Walter Hamada's in charge. She doesn't like it that Walter Hamada doesn't talk to press. This is what it is. And they're trying to stir up a reaction, and they can't. They can't, because the DCEU and DC films are in a sure footing. The Joker movie is about to explode in a good way, and they can't handle it. And people are so impressed and haven't got the passion to say, oh, God, the DCEU, oh, damn, those Warner Brothers, that she can't even get a response. The only situation now that people are frustrated with Warner Brothers about is the Justice League one. It's released the Snyder Cut. I'm involved with that. We all are. But we have to be fair. Since Justice League, bringing in Kevin Sugihara's decision to bring Walter Hamada in was genius. It's working, and you can't say anything against that. But she doesn't like that. And she's trying to uproar people, and she is. It is work because she's angered me. But the point is, she hasn't angered me against Ewan McGregor or Margot Robbie or the director or the writer of this movie. No, it's angered me about her. And I'm watching her video and I'm giving her views. So her evil plan has worked, hasn't it?
Everybody who saw that movie prior to its release. Or is Black Mask being played for laughs or for shock value or to be that zany movie? Again, Harley Quinn is a comedic character, so this movie will play this at least partially for laughs. It is going to be done comedically. Furthermore, just as there was similar concern when it was announced that a straight actor would be playing a flamboyantly gay character for laughs in The Jungle Cruise, well, Ewan McGregor is also straight. Now, he has played a gay role before, most prominently in 2000.
Right, I'm going to be clear how I feel about this. Straight people playing gay people. Or anything, or kind of whitewashing or anything like that. Acting is a craft. You pretend, you become someone. That's what it's all about. I've acted, I've performed, I've played, bloody hell, I've played black people on stage before. And I've I don't care. I've played black characters before. I've played women on stage before. It's about pretending. I never thought I was being offensive to any person of colour or any woman. That's what performance is, to dress up and to become something you're not. Something these political birds of prey, let's call them, and these entertainment news people are birds of prey. They are preying on movies and fans. This is what they don't get because they don't understand the craft of storytelling and acting.
Nines, I Love You, Philip Morris. And of course, straight actors can play gay roles because gay actors can play straight roles, right? But that being said, you can't deny there's something powerful in Ruby Rose playing Batwoman. Plus...
Oh! Ruby Rose, a woman who couldn't act her way out of a paper bag, who's only been cast because she's a lesbian, right? That's really powerful. How is it powerful? There's no pretending. There's no performance. We already know she's gay. And there's no imagination there. So that makes it so unpowerful.
When you're doing something tricky like this, it's a good idea to have an LGBT person involved in some capacity to make sure it's done right.
Oh, yeah, because it's so different to be LGBTQ. Oh, my God, because you have to be an expert, right? You have to be an expert to be either someone who used to be a man or to be a woman. What are they going to tell you? And that's what research is for. You can go and talk to people from the LGBT community. She's a nutter.
Ewan McGregor is straight. Margot Robbie is straight. Screenwriter Christina Hodson is straight. No indication on Kathy Yan, which we should be respectful of. It should also be...
No, she's now trying to investigate if Kathy Yan is straight or LGBTQ. Honestly, this woman is tiring, and this is why nobody likes her. She's become successful by doing this, and you have to congratulate the woman. Wow, I could never do what she does. Because it's so immoral. I mean, I'm immoral. I don't mind being immoral to make money and become successful. Hey, I applaud anyone who does it. But this woman takes it to another level because you have just released spoilers. People don't like that. People don't like you. People are not frustrated with this movie or Margot. I support Margot. I support her 90% female production company. Because that is representation, that is good representation. I question it a little bit because I want men and women to work together. But hey, obviously we have to look at that, don't we, Hollywood? But the point being that all the frustration for me personally is towards this woman.
Noted the Black Mask isn't the only LGBT character in Birds of Prey. Renee Montoya, played by Rosie Perez, will be in a lesbian relationship just as she is in the comics. She's become an LGBT character, and here she'll be in a relationship with Ali Wong. So Birds of Prey could be amazing LGBT representation. It could be unfortunate LGBT representation. Maybe it's both, right? But the private parts pictures in the Diamond storyline seems awfully disrespectful, right? To both the LGBT community and DC characters and fans.
Why is this disrespectful to the LGBTQ community? Because one gay guy hid private pictures in a fucking diamond. Why is that disrespectful? Every individual in the world has the right to live the way they are, as long as they're not murdering people, killing people, or oppressing people. That is one gay character, and he's decided to live like that. He's not representing you. One gay character doesn't represent a whole community. This is the problem with Hollywood. This is the problem with the media. This is what nobody gets today.
Kind of, kinky Benny Hill or imitation Quentin Tarantino. I've heard.
Wow, she's heard of Benny Hill. I love Benny Hill. Come and get me, SJWs.
Quentin Tarantino's name bandied about before when it comes to this new Birds of Prey, and of course Margot Robbie is in his new movie Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. But it's worth noting that he himself is in a lot of trouble right now, with rumors he might even recut his movie before release, because Once Upon a Time in Hollywood came under significant fire at the Cannes Film Festival for how it depicted not only female characters, but Margot Robbie's. And she thought that...
Right, this is just... Right, I didn't know this, but this is how pathetic things are now. This is why there's so many reshoots going on. They cut people's movies to pieces because of the way it represented Margot Robbie. But again, let me be clear here. Every single woman is an individual. One woman doesn't represent a whole community, you thick idiots. She's one individual character, and Quentin shouldn't have to go back and recut his fucking movie because people are butthurt. But we live in the butthurt generation, don't we? And I don't care if your butt's hurt. I'm just fed up. I'm sick to death that we just can't see good movies without them being teared to pieces before we've fucking seen them.
It was a good idea when she was making that movie. So you got to really check these things and ask, make sure you ask around and cover all your bases. Two final points that I want to make. Making pictures of private parts the focal point of a movie will significantly limit its audience.
Hang on a minute. This is an R-rated movie. You don't know if this is actually the central point. This could be a subplot, as I've already discussed. But she's decided now this is the central point of the movie because apparently she's spoken to someone who's read the script, right?
Consider all the kids who like Harley Quinn and comic book movies, right? It will also
R-rated.
keep the movie from even being released in some countries, or if it is released,
R-rated.
heavily edited. It might not be able to be edited down, which was an issue with the first Deadpool, although that movie did very, very well, obviously. But with a $75 million budget, not including advertising, Birds of Prey does need to make some money.
A $75 million budget, which is nothing, and she's talking like it has to make... what is she talking about?
People did take their kids to Deadpool. I heard reports from many of you that people walked out. But Deadpool 2 did very well, although I don't know. I don't even think Deadpool has even gone this far. Maybe a little bit, but it was side jokes, not where it was a central plot point. That's, I think, the big difference.
Deadpool didn't go that far. What I would do if I were you, Grace, stay off the drugs, stay off the caffeine, go and watch both films back to back, and then speak honestly and not trying to guide your agenda somewhere else.
Also, this really underscores the dangers of advanced screenings to the public. You can't keep something, especially like this, a secret for almost 7 months.
Of course they give advanced screenings to the public. It's called a test screening. You get feedback. You know if you're going wrong or if you need to reshoot this or change that. That's the whole point, Grace. Things are going to get out. Maybe studios need to be a lot more stricter and scare people legally a bit more, but test screenings are vital for this industry.
And it's why I'm very concerned about the reports that Warner Brothers is considering debuting Joker at the Venice Film Festival a full month before its release. Oh, by the way,
of course. Of course you're worried about the Joker movie going to the Venice Film Festival because it's against your agenda, because people are going to start talking about Oscars and critical acclaim, and you really don't want that for the DCEU, do you? Or the DC films, because that hurts your bottom line and your agenda.
I'll point out, the reason Marvel doesn't have any leaks is that their advanced test screenings are done for a select group of friends and family, who are of course incentivized to keep quiet about it. It's a repeat group, so you...
Basically, right, Marvel Studios have their mates doing... What's better, right? Just think about this. I know it won't get out because of the way Marvel Studios do it, but she just thought she'd link that in there so we can say, look at Marvel, they do things better than Warner Brothers. The DCEU's a mess. Warner Brothers are a mess. You effing batch. I do not like you. I've never liked you. And you were heading for this through the whole video to tell us how Marvel Studios do things a lot better.
Stay in the group, so you don't want to leak. And then also, they're related to or are friends with people who are employed by Marvel, and so that's also an extra incentive. Warner Brothers should maybe consider putting together the same group. Whoever they're screening their DC movies for is a mistake, because they keep telling them to move ahead, and then the movies are released, and they, often not worked out. All right, so what are your thoughts on this whole situation? I'm very...
Honestly, she is ghastly. As you can see, she's really riled me up. I very rarely sit through her videos, especially about DC, because she really does wind me up. She's been a typical journalist there. She's put in some points. She's brought in her agenda, mentioned Batman v Superman for you people who don't like Batman v Superman. Then you could bring that hate to this movie. She's very clever. She's very cunning, and she's very manipulative, and this video means absolute jack shit because she hasn't brought up one point that concerns me or should concern you. My final point about test screenings is it's important to allow members of the public to give you feedback. Now, the way Marvel Studios do that with their friends and family, that's shit. And you can tell why a lot of their films are actually so generic and so shit if friends and family are giving them feedback. Everyone goes to watch them because they're easy watch, they're funny, so they don't really need a test audience. But Warner Brothers are making real individual movies that need the public's feedback. And for her to say, oh, well, it's not working because their films don't work. Really? Really? Millions of Man of Steel fans around the world. Batman v Superman, Suicide Squad. A lot of people loved these movies. A lot of people hated them. But you can't just rub out the love for these movies. Our love, the people who watch these videos, the millions of people around the world who love the DCEU. Grace, you tried hard. You tried to destabilise what Walter Hamada is trying to do, and you failed. And all you did, Grace, is destabilise yourself.